to work that out as we go here. Hello, Paleo FX Change here, and I am so excited to talk to my friend and yours. You just don't know she's your friend yet, Dr. Kristin Comella. And one of the reasons why she's your friend is right now she is battling on all of our behalf to make sure that we have the right to use our own stem cells to heal ourselves. And so I'm so honored to have her on today, but I am more honored that she's coming to Paleo FX and she's going to be talking to you about stem cells and what's happening currently right now with her battle. So thank you so much, Kristin, for being here. Appreciate it so much.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. It's truly an honor. The Paleo crowd is the best in the world. I think that I've attended for the last 4 years in a row. Truly an amazing event to bring together like-minded individuals who are really interested in advancing their health. And for me, that means advancing your health at the cellular level. And really tapping into this inner healing potential gift that we've been given, which is these stem cells that exist inside every single one of us.
Yeah. So tell us really quickly, what are stem cells and how are they different from regular cells?
So stem cells are the primitive cells inside your body that are responsible for healing and maintaining anytime you have an injury or as you go along in life aging. Unfortunately, every day we do come into contact with toxins. It's just the nature of being human. And so our stem cells are what are responsible for repairing the tissue when it gets damaged from toxins. So stem cells can work in two ways. One, they can help to bring down inflammation. And two, they can help to repair damaged tissue. So just to give you an example, if you were to cut your arm, stem cells would go to that area and begin to repair that cut, stop inflammation, and then ensure that you have normal tissue forming. And this is constantly going on inside your body. Every tissue inside your body is turning over and healing. It's truly a miracle. And in fact, if you didn't have stem cells, you could only live for about an hour.
Wow, that is amazing. Can we your sound is going out just a little bit. Let's try to because I want to make sure everybody hears everything that you have to say because it's so important. Do you have a headset?
I do. Maybe I should switch to the computer mic.
Yeah, that might work. It might be a little bit better. I don't know. We'll see.
Let me give it a go. Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, way better. Awesome. So so go tell us where. I know that you guys actually retrieve stem cells from adipose fat, but can you tell us where can you find stem cells in your body?
So stem cells exist in every single tissue in your body, and one of the most plentiful sources is your fat tissue. In fact, you can get about 500 times more stem cells from fat than what you can get from, say, bone marrow. Bone marrow has been around a little bit longer. Those protocols were initially developed in the late 30s to isolate bone marrow and isolate the stem cells. So since that time, more modern techniques involve getting stem cells from the fat. The reason that this is a preferable source is because you can get 500 times more stem cells, but also because the population coming from the fat has a much lower concentration of white blood cells. White blood cells are pro-inflammatory. They create inflammation. So using a population from the fat, having less white blood cells means that you have more of an opportunity for regeneration and less of an opportunity for inflammation. So we originally began, and I began working in this space in the late 90s, and back then we were only using bone marrow. We eventually converted to completely fat tissue in about 2005, and since that time we've been using fat. We've treated over 12,000 patients using their own fat tissue, and we can address a variety of different things, anything from inflammation associated with disease or injury. We do systemic conditions, things like autoimmune diseases, heart, lungs. We work with neurological conditions, the brain, and also orthopedics. That's probably our most common indication, orthopedics.
Okay, so this is a thing. So stem cells, when someone's stem cells for, say, an injury or what have you, tell us how that actually works and how you do that process. And then I want to go more into what's going on right now and what the fight that you're in.
Sure. So it's a very simple procedure. It's all done in clinic. It's outpatient procedure, meaning that you come in, we do the process, and then you go home that same day. It's typically about 2 hours from start to finish, from the time you walk in the door to the time you walk out. We take a small sample of fat by doing a local anesthesia, meaning just numbing the local area. You remain awake. We don't have to put you under general anesthesia. We numb just below the skin, and then we will remove a small amount of fat. It's typically about the size of a stick of butter, which in terms of your fat tissue is a very small amount. And the incision that we make is so tiny, it's about the size of my pinky nail. We do not even have to do stitching. The hole will close on its own. After we isolate that fat, we process to obtain the cells of interest. We refer to this as a stromal vascular fraction. The stromal vascular fraction, or SVF for short, contains a lot of different types of cells, different types of stem cells, as well as growth factors, cytokines, all of these that are good for the healing cascade and bringing down inflammation. We will then inject those directly where you need them. So if the goal is to address an injury in your knee, maybe a torn meniscus or an ACL, we would inject directly into the knee structure. Or if we're addressing something that's more systemic, we could place the cells IV and allow them to circulate. Or if we're trying to address something that's neurological or inside the brain, we can do what's called an intrathecal injection, which means that we actually introduce the cells into the cerebral spinal fluid to allow them to circulate across the blood-brain barrier.
That's amazing. Okay, we're having a little more trouble with your sound again. You're starting to go in and out. I don't know what we can do about it. If you can kind of mess with it, I'm gonna. So I was very honored. Kristin is the president of the Academy of Regenerative Practices, and she puts on a conference annually in Florida. I was just down there in Florida a couple of weeks ago, and did a talk there on the humans. And I had no idea what was happening with Kristin until she got up and spoke, and she was the last person to speak before actually Roger Stone, which that was really an incredible talk as well. And so just wanted to have Kristin explain to you what's currently happening and why she's your best friend and you don't even know it, because right now she's fighting a battle for everybody. And I want to make sure that we all get behind her and that we help her in any way possible that we can to win this battle, because the battle is truly for all of us. So can you kind of speak to that a little bit, Kristin? Tell us a little bit about what's happening with the FDA.
Sure. So approximately a year ago, March 25th of 2018 to be exact, not that I remember it, I received a call from my attorneys in Washington, D.C., letting me know that the Food and Drug Administration, with their lawyers, which are the Department of Justice, the DOJ, had prepared a draft lawsuit. The draft lawsuit read, "The United States of America versus
Okay.
my name personally." Is it frozen? Shoot. Did I lose you? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? I'm going to try
disconnect right now. Can you still hear me? Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. I don't know what happened. We both froze. It knocked us out, and I came back in. I'm hoping we're
Okay.
all good. So
I went ahead and switched my Wi-Fi just in case. So I have a backup Wi-Fi if original Wi-Fi doesn't work.
Awesome. That might help. Okay, so you started to tell us that the DOJ had prepared paperwork and that was it.
Yeah. So they sent a draft lawsuit that read the United States of America versus the name of our clinic and then my name personally. So the United States of America versus Kristin Comella. And what the lawsuit stated in summary is that the stem cells that exist inside your and mine fat tissue are a drug. And as such, our clinic should not be using patients' stem cells to help them heal because the appropriate drug approval processes are not in place. Unfortunately, in order to go through a drug approval process, this is something that costs hundreds of millions of dollars. In addition, you have to demonstrate potency, and it's something that would have to be prepared in batches and, in other words, available off the shelf. So you could see why labeling your own stem cells as a drug would be very problematic, and it would actually shut the entire field down and prevent patients from having access to their own healing cells that are inside their body. And I think that most Americans would agree with me that the stem cells inside their body are not a drug and that those stem cells are owned solely by them. My cells, my choice. This is not something that the government needs to get involved with, and this is something that you can work with your practitioner, your physician, to use your own cells to heal, and this is your right. So at the same time that they filed or that they provided this draft lawsuit, they gave what was called a consent decree. And what they said in this consent decree is that if I signed the consent decree, which said that I agree to go away and be quiet and not help patients to use their own stem cells to heal, they would not file this lawsuit. If I did not sign the consent decree, then they would absolutely file a lawsuit against me and they would come after me financially in every way possible, as well as with the force of the media. So as you can imagine, it was, I would say, probably a tough decision, but really not so much. I've seen enough patients who were without hope because every drug had failed them, their health was failing, and we helped them to get better using their own healing potential to know that the only right decision to make was to stand up for Americans. So I refused to sign the consent decree, and so here we are today. The lawsuit was filed. And the government has brought kind of the force of the government to come after me personally, as well as to come after our clinic, which does these procedures.
And this is the thing. So you guys, Kristin's clinic is not the only clinic that does this in the world. They've gone after another doctor as well. But the thing is that what this is that the FDA has actually reversed their own decision. Was it 10, 12 years ago?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. They reversed their own decision that this was not a drug, that this was practicing medicine, which the FDA has absolutely no right to get involved with a medical practitioner and their patient. And so they have now reversed that. And the reason that they have reversed this, and I'm going to say it, I don't know if she can or not, but they have reversed this because a very large pharmaceutical company, which I will not name, has a drug that they are currently in the process of getting approved by the FDA. So again, hundreds of millions of dollars putting this drug through trials and trying to get this drug approved. It is a drug that will cost $500,000 per dose. When a stem cell procedure costs anywhere between $5,000 and $8,000, you use your own stem cells, and it is not a foreign agent being brought into your body that could be toxic or could cause you long-term issues. So as you can see, there's a really huge conflict of interest here. This is actually something that all of us need to know about. We all need to be educated about. We all need to be, we don't have a whole lot of time. They actually set the date for her trial in June. But the thing is I want to make sure that everybody in the PaleoFX world, and particularly at PaleoFX, anybody that's attending, that you know what she's going through and what she's doing to battle for all of us, because this is absolutely ludicrous, first of all, that the FDA thinks that they have any right to tell you that you do not have the right to use your own tissues to heal yourself. So we've been using blood to, we even use other people's blood. We do blood transfusions to help save people's lives. That's all legal. What makes blood and fat and stem cells different? There's nothing different about it. It's absolutely crazy that now we can't actually use our own stem cells, our own fat, our own tissue, like we use our own blood, and other people's can actually be introduced into our bodies. That's all legal. But now they're trying to say that it's no longer going to be legal and that can't happen.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
A pharmaceutical company is in the pocket of the FDA. That is absolutely crazy, and we need to make darn sure that we help in any way we can to stop this. Is there anything besides contributing to and donating to your legal fund? Because you guys, it's been extremely expensive for her to do this. She has personally been out a lot of money, and there is a fund to be able to help fund her and take care of the legal fees. But is there anything else we can do as citizens? Is there anything, can we write to the FDA? Can we get involved? Is there any of that? I don't even know if that's possible, but if it is, we need to do it.
Yeah, I actually think that that's not a bad idea, but also to the Congress people in your area, making sure that they know that you want to be able to use your own cells to heal. So, writing letters and supporting. In addition, and this is not necessarily related to helping the case, but my goal every morning when I wake up, I remind myself of my goal, and it's to help as many people as possible with natural healing. And that's kind of my mission, and I stay true to that mission. So one thing that you can do is go to mycellsmychoice.org, which is a nonprofit that we set up, and make a donation. It's a nonprofit, so you do get the tax deduction, and this goes towards helping patients who can't afford a treatment with their own stem cells to providing treatments directly for those patients. So, let's get as many people healed who need our help as possible. And I think that the community knows at this point that medicine is broken and we need a change. We've become a society that relies too heavily on pharmaceutical products that aren't necessarily working. Many patients have been let down by the system. Physicians as well are frustrated with the system. They only have 5 to 10 minutes with each patient, and in that amount of time, they couldn't possibly get the full story of health. And let's get back to basics. Let's start helping patients on a cellular level with their food and detox, and then using their own body to heal. This technology to heal is inside you, and we cannot let the government or anyone else take that ability away from us. We have to stand strong and make sure that we protect our right, and that health freedom is an important issue.
Man, I am so right there with you. So you guys make sure that you are reaching out to your Congress people, to your senators and representatives, letting them know that that these are your cells, your choice, that the FDA has no business getting involved in this. Please ask them to support Dr. Kristin Comella in what's happening right now and making sure this does not happen. And if you can, of course, donate to mycellsmychoice.org. I put the link in the comments there for you. You want to definitely make sure that you do everything you can to protect yourself here. This is actually one of those things where it's the government, going after another one of our freedoms. And that's absolutely ludicrous that they would take that right away from us. And so you guys, I want you guys to come out to PaleoFX. I want you to hear her in person. I want you to meet her. She's amazing. I don't know. I mean, I would like to think that if I was in the situation that you were in, Kristin, that I would make the same choices you if I would. And I I just so respect you, and I can't even tell you how humbled I am that you would do this for everyone and put yourself and your family at such a huge risk. And then of course your entire clinic is at risk, and your entire, everybody that works for you that's, depends on that, on your clinic. I just have so much respect for the fact that you're doing this. And I just really honor the fact that you are fighting for all of us. And I want to make sure you have as many people in your corner as possible, because if that's the little part I can play and help, I definitely want to do it. So you guys come out and hear her talk. And if you can tell us right now, just a little bit preview of your talk at Paleo FX, that would be awesome.
Yeah, so we'll kind of go over the basics of stem cell therapy. I'll show some of the different patient results and some of the studies that we've published. We are the most published group in the world with regards to using stem cells from fat in a clinical setting. We've addressed indications such as degenerative disc disease, lung disease, heart disease, osteoarthritis, meniscal tears, wound healing. So we'll talk about some of those results. And of course, I'll discuss a little bit with regards to the case and kind of where we are today. So we are set for trial in June, although those dates could be up in the air. It's hard to say what's going to happen with regards to the dates and the timing. And we are before a judge, so it's not a jury trial, it is a judge trial. And look, there was never a doubt in my mind what I had to do. I knew what the right decision was, and if it meant losing all our money in the process, my husband and I were okay with that. And this is bigger than me. It's important. And if we have to, we find different ways to make money. Money comes and goes. The more important thing is standing up for what's right. I just couldn't imagine being in my 90s and ever doubting the decision to stand up for Americans' rights.
That is so amazing. I'm so proud of you, and I'm just so honored to know you. And I just feel so blessed that we have you fighting for us. And you guys, if you're watching this on replay, please make sure you go to the website that's in the comments. And please share this. Make sure that all of your loved ones, your family, your friends, your communities, your tribe, everybody, please make sure you share this and that people know what's happening right now, and that this battle is absolutely real. And you never know when it's going to be your turn, because you may think, oh, well, that doesn't really affect me. I don't really need my stem cells. I don't really know anything about this. You don't know when you're going to need your stem cells until you need them. You don't know if you have your child is in a really, really horrific accident or what have you. Like our daughter, Brittany, was killed in a car accident. If she had lived, she would have absolutely needed her stem cells. She would have needed those, and those would have been taken from her, possibly, if we allow that to happen. So you need to get involved, even if you think this doesn't affect you. At some level, at some point in your life, this will affect you, because just the fact that this technology exists, that this procedure exists, is absolute proof that this is something that we need. And I'm going to tell you, Kristin has actually done stem cell procedure on both me, and it's amazing. It was the only thing that actually was effective for my treatment. I had done quite a few other treatments, spent a lot of money, and it did not work. And this was the only treatment that actually worked for me. And so I just want you guys to know, even if you think that this doesn't affect you, I promise you, at some point in your life, on some level, or somebody is going to need their stem cells at some point in their life, and they cannot have that right taken away from them. And so we need to get behind her and help her with this battle. And so thank you so much, Kristin, for being here. I know you're super busy, and I know we've used up our time, but please tell everybody where they can actually follow you, where they can find you, where they can know everything that's going on. Can you tell them all that?
So I have both an Instagram page and a Facebook page. It's Kristin with an I. Last name is Comella, Comella. And one thing that I would like to ask the viewers is just send me a note that says, keep fighting. It's really nice to know that I have people behind me.
Oh, awesome. Well, you guys, like share, hashtag replay if you're watching it in replay, so that this keeps coming up in the feed and that people keep seeing it, because we want to make sure that they actually know what's happening and what's going on. And we want to actually make sure that we back Kristin and her battle. And thank you so much, Kristin. And I can't wait to see you in 2 weeks in Austin, Texas.
Yay.
And you guys, if you haven't gotten your tickets for Paleo FX, it's not too late. And you definitely want to come out and you want to see Kristin talk about this and actually get behind her in this battle. And you guys, can't wait to see you. You guys have a wonderful day, and we appreciate you watching. Bye-bye.
Thanks.